Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm going to share with you my top 10 tips for new businesses and entrepreneurs. What's going on guys? Eric here. I've been an entrepreneur for over 22 years in different industries like collectibles, automotive, financial, insurance, and now accounting and taxes. I've seen a lot, I've experienced a lot, I've succeeded quite a bit, and I've also failed a lot. And I want to share with you guys a couple of tips that I've learned from my own personal experience that will help you build your business or start your business. All right, number one, cash flow is king. It doesn't matter if you have a big sale that's going to be coming up or you know you're going to get some money in the near future. If you don't have cash flow today to pay your bills and pay your employees, your business is going to fail. So make sure you structure your revenue that comes in and you structure how you pay your bills so that way you always maintain your cash flow. What cash flow is your access and liquidity to cash. And that's why some businesses choose when purchasing new assets to either lease or finance items as opposed to buying it outright, so that way they still have access to the big lump sum of cash that would have been locked up if they were to buy that asset. So remember, cash flow is king, and that's what you need to know when you run your own business. Number two, hire slow, fire fast. Now this is my perspective on it. When you're hiring a new employee, take the time and spend the time to make sure that you have the right candidate. A lot of entrepreneurs have the trigger reaction of hiring the first person that walks through the door or the first couple of people that apply for them. The only problems that you need to understand is when you hire an employee, it's a large commitment of your time, resource, and potentially even money to get them up to speed. So make sure you spend a little bit of extra time understanding, identifying, and finding the right candidate to bring on board to your team. Now, when it comes to firing an employee, fire fast. If you find a team member that's not working up to par or they're doing things that are violating employee or company policy, make sure you address it with them immediately, and if nothing gets rectified, fire them immediately. You don't want that cancer to be eating away at your company and destroying the morale of your other employees. And next, it also burns a lot of your own time by leaving somebody who might be a cancer to your business. So remember, hire slow and fire fast. Number three, and this is a huge misconception I see a lot of entrepreneurs do. They have the notion that their employees will have the same amount of passion and drive as they do for their business. Let me tell you guys, that is an absolutely incorrect way of doing things. You're doing a disservice to your employees, you're also disrespecting them too. Now let's talk about that, let's think about that. Now, an employee will never have the same amount of passion and drive for your business as you do. Wonder why? They're being paid on an hourly basis, whereas you have an equity stake in the business. Now, over time, they might be more passionate and more driven to help you in your company as they understand you more and more, but they'll never be at the same level as you do as an equity stake owner in the company. Remember, these folks are clocking in on a 9 to 5. Expect that they'll do what they're responsible for doing and what you've assigned them to do, but anything above and beyond that is probably not going to happen unless you induce them with equity in the company or you really get involved with them. Number four, if you have problems at your employees or folks in your workplace, it's probably you. Now let's be clear and let's be honest, over 90% of issues that happen inside a workplace are from management. Now the reality is the majority of issues that come about are because of communication or lack of communication. If there's a problem or you should foresee a problem, it might be because it wasn't communicated effectively, the person didn't understand it, or they might not have absorbed it, or you might need to re-explain it to them once again. So communication is key when it comes to employees. And if there's a problem happening in your workplace, the first step is to really look in the mirror and see if there's something that you could improve upon. Number five, and this is a big one, your employees are not your kids, they're not your family members, they're not your psychologists, so treat them well. Don't use them, don't abuse them, or it's gonna come back to you and bite you in the butt. Now let me explain. When I run a business, I like to consider my employees as my dysfunctional family, but I never bring my personal issues, I never bring my personal problems to my employees. That is not a good way of creating a good relationship with your employees. Number two, I don't ask them to do things that's above and beyond or outside of the realm of what their employment is. For example, I'm not going to have my employees go out and pick up my dry cleaning or pick up my kid from school unless it's outside of the workplace, because that's weird. You don't want to do that. You don't want to make your employees feel like you're taking advantage of their time and you're taking advantage of them. That's a bad situation to be in. You want to have a clear work relationship with your employees and keep that line clean as possible to prevent any future issues from happening. Number 6, you want to listen to your customers. And it's shocking how many entrepreneurs and business owners don't survey or ask their clients what they need or what they're looking for. The notion of an entrepreneur is a lot of folks think that they're so strong-willed, so strong-headed, they're so smart that they know exactly what a client needs, exactly what a client wants. But the thing is, your client is paying you. You're not paying the client, right? So you want to ask them, you want to survey them for any type of improvement or any type of feedback on what they may want. Who knows, that client feedback might help develop a brand new, profitable, super profitable product that you may not have thought about before. So always listen to your customers, always listen to your clients, and see if there's feedback, improvements, or further products that might be beneficial for your company. Number 7, and for me this is a big one because I've always had service-based businesses. Customer service is king. And let me explain. Now, you always hear the statement of the customer's always right. Now, that's not always necessarily the case, but hear me out here, especially if you're running a business. When it comes to customer service, you want to try to address any customer issues, want to provide the best customer service to your client in how you greet them, how you talk to them, how you interact with them, how quickly you communicate with them, because it's always more cost effective to retain your existing clients than to spend money and try to find brand new ones. When I ran my retail tax practice, it cost me $30 per new tax client to bring into the door, whereas it cost me only $10 per existing tax client to retain them and bring them in every single year. So it's always more cost effective and always less expensive for you to retain your existing customers. And how do you retain your customers? With great customer service. Communicate with them, talk with them. Like the previous tip, find out what they're looking for, what they need. If there's a problem, address it immediately. Take responsibility, accountability for it, talk it through, try to address it, try to resolve it, and try to do the best that you can. And that's all you can really do. Provide great customer service to your clients. Now, number 8, this sounds a little bit counterproductive to my previous tip of great customer service, but number 8 is fire certain customers, fire certain clients. And let me explain what that means. What do you mean by fire your clients? In the retail business that I've had, and I've had many retail businesses between automotive to financial to even retail tax preparation, everybody has those specific clients that you have as a headache, and you're like, oh my God, I can't wait for this person to leave because they're a huge headache. And they're a huge headache for a specific reason. Maybe they're over demanding. Maybe they are asking for you of more of your time than what they're actually compensating you for. Understand what your time is worth. In my tax practice that I had one client that would come in every single year, verbally berate and insult my employees, make a huge scene complaining about the IRS in front of other clients, and basically make all of my other clients that are sitting in the room at the same time wonder what the heck is going on. I had to pull that client to the side and be like, hey, you know what? I really appreciate your time with me and how much business you brought me in the past, but no more. I can't have you in the office anymore unless you can handle your verbal situation here. If not, we're gonna have to cut our ties and you're gonna have to find another accountant. And what had happened is after that guy had left, he's like, oh, screw you, I'm going somewhere else. I'm like, okay, that's fine with me. After you left, my employee morale shot up through the roof and clients were happy. We didn't have any other crazy folks making a scene in the office. And that's just kind of like justifies the importance of firing certain customers. Yes, they're paying the bills. Yes, it's nice to have that money in your pocket, but is your time, is your headache, is the ability to sleep at night from the cost of having that problem customer really worth it? Probably not. It's probably much easier for you to replace that particular client with a new one than to try to maintain that relationship and destroy the morale of your employees around you. So remember, if you have a problem customer, problem client, yes, they might be paying you money, but don't forget, you do have the option and you do have the right to fire that client. Number 9, this is a huge one. Trust your gut. What does that mean? Trust your gut. You hear it all the time. People say it all the time, but people rarely understand it. Trusting your gut really means to understand and listen to your first instinct. Often, and even scientifically it's been proven, that your first instinct or your first reaction to a question or to a problem or decision is often the correct decision. More often than not, you always hear folks say, gosh, I knew that was a terrible idea. I wish I didn't do it. You don't want to have that regret later by not trusting your gut. You got to trust yourself. When you run a business, you want to be calm, collected, confident, and also trust your instincts and your decision-making process. Don't allow doubts and don't allow other folks' opinions potentially to muddle up your decision-making. Don't let your doubts or other folks' doubts to potentially muddle up your decision-making process. You want to be able to make a clear, concise, and quick decision, and that usually goes with trusting your gut. So sometimes when you do have to make a big decision, you might have to sit back and reflect for a moment and just listen to yourself. Be quiet, don't say anything, just listen to yourself and how you would react to that. And that initial reaction is probably the correct one. So trust your gut means to listen to your instincts. All right, guys, number 10, and this is number 10 out of hundreds of tips that I have, but today I'm gonna give you my last tip for today, is to run your business like a business. Now, what does that mean? All too often in my tax practice, I have folks come in with bank statements and I notice that they're using their business accounts to purchase weekend groceries for their family. Or they have to bring in their personal accounts because they've used their personal accounts to buy assets for the business. That is a really bad idea. And let me explain. You do not want to commingle personal and business. You don't want to use your business assets for personal use, and you don't want to use your personal stuff for business use. 3 reasons why. Number 1, it makes it easier for your bookkeeper or accountant to determine what is deduction, what is personal use, and what is not. And that will help you save on your taxes, which is something that all of us want to do, right? Number 2, it helps the IRS. How does it help the IRS, and who really cares about helping the IRS? Well, if you're to be audited by the IRS and you commingle your assets, commingling meaning you use business for personal, personal for business, the IRS could open up a whole new can of worms and now you would owe much more than you originally thought. By keeping it clean and simple, the IRS only knows what they need to know. Number 3, it also prevents you from any type of personal liability from your business. If you have a limited liability company or an S corporation or a C corporation and you start mixing business with pleasure or business and personal, you could pierce what they call the corporate veil, and if somebody was to sue you in court and exceed your insurance levels, they could go after your personal assets because a judge would say, you aren't running this as a business, you're running this as an extension of your own person. So those are 3 huge reasons why you want to keep your business separate from your personal life and run your business like a business. All right, guys, so those are just 10 tips for today. Like I said, I got a lot more because I've learned a lot from a lot of successes and a lot of failures. If you're an entrepreneur like me, you'd understand you face a lot of issues and you potentially hit a lot of failures amongst the success that you've learned from. And those are just a couple of things that I've learned. Now, I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a huge thumbs up. You just click that little like button down there, the thumbs up button. And if you're brand new to the channel, I put out great content every week on entrepreneurship, taxes, accounting, and finance. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below. I'd really appreciate it. So if you click that subscription box below, it's super important because you get a weekly email from YouTube stating that, hey, Eric's uploaded a new video that will help you grow your business, make more money, save more money, and also grow your assets over time. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I read every comment that comes in. I try to respond to as much as I can, as much as possible. And I'd love to hear and get your feedback. Again, that's one of my top tips. I'd love to hear your feedback on things that you would like to learn about as an entrepreneur or as a new entrepreneur or business owner. So don't forget to comment below as well. I look forward to seeing you guys every week and have a great day. Take care.